it's too much. And I love my job, love the kids, but cool blimey.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. Like, I think it's so mentally
working with
draining.
the kids here. How cooked is the next generation? Like, how cooked are they?
Yeah, because
Right.
you're in the midst of it.
Let me tell you something. So obviously when I graduated in 2022, I thought that I wanted to work with adults, which I did for the past, up until now, basically. Worked with adults, thought I wanted to specialise in sex therapy and trauma therapy, and I was like, oh my God, like that's what I want to do. Then I thought, I don't think it is. So I made the switch with kids March this year.
Okay.
Absolutely love my job. Like when I tell you I love it, I absolutely love it. But you see, the next generation, I'm so extremely worried for. I am so extremely worried for them, just in terms of the things they go through. Like, I genuinely think in order to have a child, you need to like go through testing, because parents, it all starts at home, and we literally were having this conversation of like, it all starts at home, and some people absolutely are not qualified to be parents. Like, it's so tapped, but just the things these kids say and they do. I'm sitting there half the time at work and I'm like, get out of my office. I'm like, get out of my office, because I don't even know what to say to you right now. It's tapped. Like, it's so tapped. Some of the things they come out with, I'm sitting there and I'm like...
Do you think it's because they're not actually allowed to be children? Like, they've been not matured because they're not mature, but...
Do you know what I can...
Do
you know what I can say for that is, especially because obviously I work with a lot of the vulnerable students, and obviously the area I work in, school I work in, is obviously more black people, and what I can say is that the black people are, I'm not gonna lie, some of my students, I just want to cry and I just want to hug them, because I'm like, I don't know how you're even able to show up every day with a smile on your face.
Do you know what's mad? Something, so me and Ben have always said, it's like, you have to take a self-reflective view. There's some things from my African culture and background that Ben can agree with, where we thought we were being matured quickly, which was good. But now that I look back, I was like, nah, they took my innocence away. Like, there's some things I shouldn't have known about.
When I was that,
even some things like financial struggles that, bro, my mum and dad should have, not that they did, but there's some stuff I should have heard about that. Even certain arguments, certain things about other adults, and now it's put on me, and it's like, oh, that they'll make you pick sides type of thing. Because it's like, about then, you feel like, like, they trust me.
Because I can't lie, there's certain times, not to go into too much detail, where a certain situation will happen. Like, I recall one situation happening at home, and then I was thinking, like, it made me think that, do you know what? As, this was as like a 14, 15-year-old, that I need to start making my own money, so I don't have to ask my mum for money. Sort of. Like, so certain stuff was happening, and it almost led me down the wrong path to put in, but it's like, now that you mentioned that, and sometimes I think, like, there's going to be kids that, obviously, don't get twisted, that there's kids in the Middle East that are... They just want food. No, I 100% agree, But at the same time, it's like, as you mentioned, like kids, like, there's certain stuff that we weren't meant to be knowing as kids. But one thing I will say is that, don't you think that even as young kids or adults, as we might even say,
like to say, I hate that
there's certain shit that we wanted to sort of do that we really and truly we shouldn't be wanting to do. Like sometimes we wanted to grow up too fast.
It
wasn't. I wouldn't always say.
I think it coincided with some of the stuff we're being showed, because, like you said, so you saying now getting that money then to you, and maybe I don't know, I can't speak for you, but as a man, that would affect my ego to like, oh, if I get my own money, my own stuff, I can do whatever I want.
Yes, and I think that's what it's always equated to. Like, if I get my own money, then no one can tell me shit, and I can do what I want, and I'm an adult, and I'm all of this. Like, at 14, 15, you should have been worried about your GCSEs, not, oh my God, I need my money. Like, I need money.
And obviously, I was worried about my GCSEs, but it was just a thing about, it was more so getting the things that I wanted, like the material things that I thought brought me happiness at the time. Like, whether it's the new foot, because back then it was.
But I think every child goes through that, and I think also what I'm teaching my students now is a lot of the things that you're going to go through, they are normal. Like, a lot of the things as well that we did go through and felt is very much normal. But I think as a child, and when you're like 13, 14, 15, especially secondary school years, you think you're the only person going through it. It's the end of the world, and like, that's normal, innit? Because that's the worst thing that's happening in your world. But I think what a lot of adults tend to do is invalidate that. It's like, oh, you can't feel like that because there's somebody else out there starving. But no, there is.
But we have to understand that I feel like that their parents they're not quite at that, like, they're not the generation before us. They're like the first generation. Is that first generation or older?
Yeah, a lot of them are first gen.
So then they haven't really. I think once it's our, like, sort of our older siblings, that are parents, for example, then they will start to get it a bit more, because like basically once you from like their mid 80s, younger. As we start having kids and then our kids start,
I think it will
then we'll be able to relate with them.
I
Because
also do
remember, them people just come from like back home, and then so then their mentality on their childhood is
No,
they might have been on a farm or killing chickens. Like,
and do you know what it is? I do also tell my students as well that you need to understand your parents weren't brought up in a westernized society and culture and stuff like that. So you do have to understand where they're coming from. I am really big on that. And also, yes, I get they're your parents, but our parents don't know everything. Like, there's not a guidebook on how to be a parent. Like, they've actually just had to learn along the way.
Of course.
And part of that learning is you teaching your parents things. And that's never going to stop. So even I believe when we have children, there's going to be new things that we have to learn with their generation and stuff like that. And it's for you to take the time out to try and educate your parents about it. And you've got to be patient because I'm not going to lie. It's not going to be easy.
They've been brought up in a certain system, so
and
this new system,
exactly.
this
like,
new system,
for 40 years, they've been taught something. They've now got to break out of that habit. It's not going to take a week or two. Some of the stuff we were taught,
it was subtle though. I think now it's just in their face, bro.
Like what?
Like,
sorry, I feel like I know what you're about to say.
Bro, I'm not even sure. There's just certain stuff that back in the day was subtle. Like
what?
You could slap on a music vid like UK Top 40, Katy Perry. It was subtle, but it was like But nowadays,
I was scared to put on certain.
Bro, you know what I'm saying, bro? I remember what was
even
like,
movies, like certain scenes.
Yeah, bro. Was all that was? I know there was a UK Top 40 channel, but there was like a VH1.
Channel 8.
VH1.
Or there was a BET channel.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was watching them, I have to check that. My mum's upstairs. That's
for real.
Yeah, no.
But nowadays,
but
they
now
might
the
just
kids
be slapping it
what?
up. Man's hearing them play on YouTube. I'm hearing them play King Von on the way to school.
Yeah,
thinking,
and he's
all of
talking
that.
green.
Yeah.
No, even now, I remember there's times where I've been driving with my mum. My mum's next to me, and there's certain songs I'm actually not putting on.
What? I'm on my phone like skin.
There's certain tunes that I'm not putting on because they might be talking a bit too explicit. whereby it's like, okay, let me like, because even though I feel like, okay, I'm an adult, but I just don't.
I'm an adult, but I'm still a child when it comes to being around my parents.
There's still a certain
level of respect.
And I think we've lost that.
Yeah, like, I think I agree with you when it's subtle, because even when I listen back to like the old school Caribbean songs and certain things they're singing about, it might be a bit like, oh my gosh, now I understand. But it's very subtle now. Please. My dad will look at me and be like, what is this you're listening to?
Britpop.
Like, what?